Implementing PLM 4.0, getting started with Scrum Master Speed. Now, not so long ago, it was said that the software was eating the world. But while the top 5 market cap firms are essentially software firms leveraging the network effect of platformization, it's not entirely true. Because while the top firms of Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple and Facebook continue to prosper, there's plenty of other software firms that have actually gone the other way. To me, it's more about adapting, innovating and at speed. It's a focus on delivering value for customers, working in small teams in short cycles and network organizational arrangements rather than top-down bureaucracy and silos. An unstoppable 4IR is underway, affecting almost everyone. Agile organizations are connecting everyone and everything everywhere all of the time. They are capable of delivering instant, personalized, frictionless value on a very large scale. Speed is everything. It feels like not a day passes without me reminding my team that speed is everything. Speed of action, speed of innovation leads to failures and losses, but I love them because it means we will find the best way to do things before anyone else does. Now, with that speed at which the world of business is moving, keeping up is a constant task that never gets any easier. In a world where everything is moving so rapidly, simply being fast enough isn't enough. You have to be faster than anyone and everyone, accelerating until you're at the front and move fast to stay there. Now, we live in an age of near instant gratification where consumers are not so patiently awaiting the next big thing. People simply aren't satisfied with the status quo. They want something more and they want it now. Companies must work quickly to satiate their appetites because audiences will have no qualms about moving to another product or service. Once you learn to move quickly and maintain speed, a culture of speed naturally forms where standards for speed are just as high. With everyone and everything moving faster, innovation and efficiency go through the roof, blowing back your competition and blowing away your customers. No company in any industry can expect to get ahead with a slow culture. By design, entrepreneurship is all about moving forward and putting innovation forward. Start innovating, start collaborating. Without a collaborative approach to design, how can we compete in the 4IR? Without new and disruptive products and services, how can we survive and thrive? Imagine using technology to link in outsiders such as suppliers and customers into your development projects and coming up with better ideas more quickly and cheaply than you're doing right now. Imagine a technology company orchestrating the design of a new vehicle through an open network of interested customers, software engineers and suppliers all working internationally with one another. It's the model of like-minded parties. It's starting to happen all over the world and most industries are climbing aboard and taking a collaborative approach to new product innovation. Digital innovation and digital organizations are codependent and intertwined. Now, using Scrum for an agile PLM implementation. It's generally a challenge that IT projects often take far too long, becoming too costly and never ending up with the exact solutions that customers are looking for. Furthermore, it is frequently difficult for vendors and systems integrators to uncover exactly what solutions the customers want and therefore to spend a lot of time digging into the extensive requirements, specifications and contracts. As a result, we have looked over the years for methods that could help deliver software solutions that customers could start using earlier and in a way that more accurately meets their needs. Over the last few months, I have spoken with various large enterprises that have experienced the agile methodology to deliver results. Customers wishing to implement PLM systems will find there is so much happening in the product innovation, asset lifecycle space, that there is so much that they need to have knowledge of, that they often have to think faster, react quicker before what they have started to achieve needs to change. It can be difficult for customers to visualize how the end solutions will turn out, and therefore it is difficult for them to create a complete specification that matches what they really want. Traditional projects have been governed by a contract and a specification showing what to deliver. The Agile methodology today is based on a small, self-directed team or series of teams working closely with customers and progressing by solving one task at a time within given deadlines. So let's get started. The self-directed teams are called Scrum teams. The team is led by a Scrum Master, and every time the team works together to solve different tasks, it's called a sprint. It starts by gathering the minimum requirements for the customer to be able to start using the system. These minimum requirements are the foundation for the delivered project. As a result, customers can start using the systems quickly, and therefore the benefits for the business can be realized very early on. The Scrum team's work takes place in the form of short sprints where it is allowed to fail along the way. This enables the team to learn from their mistakes and quickly move forward. The advantage of these short sprints over 2 to 3 weeks between the different sub-goals and deliveries make it easy to correct errors along the way and adjust the course. That is why this project methodology is called Agile, being a seamless way to work. Starting with the bare bones and outline of the project and asking the customer which tasks are the most important and solving these first, speed becomes the backbone. And as the project progresses, feedback is sought to ensure that the teams are heading in the right direction. So following protocol. The Scrum teams do have structure and processes, and it is a way to implement Agile. Scrum is deliberately lightweight, simple and fast, but it is difficult to master. It is intended to provide a framework for the cross-functional teams to solve complex problems through a series of meetings, aka ceremonies. They're not just meetings for the sake of having meetings. These ceremonies provide the framework for teams to get work done in a structured manner, helping to set expectations, empowering the team to collaborate effectively, and ultimately to drive results. If they're managed correctly, however, they cannot overwhelm calendars and drown out the value that they're intending to provide. The 4 main ceremonies are sprint planning, daily scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Now, conducting these meetings in isolation will not automatically make your project team agile. They have to be part of a larger, well understood and articulated process. Start up with sprint planning. Sprint planning is the Scrum ceremony designed to ensure that the team is prepared to get the right things done across every single sprint. It happens at the beginning of a new sprint and is for the product owner and the development team to meet and review the prioritized product backlog. Through a series of discussions, the team should create an agreed time sprint backlog that contains all items that they're committing to complete at the end of the respective sprint. In other words, the sprint goal. The product owner is responsible for having the product backlog ready, including the acceptance criteria, requirements, and necessary details for the development team to accurately estimate the level of effort for review before the sprint planning. Successful sprint planning relies on an experienced Scrum Master to guide the team through the nuances of success, taking the user stories, often breaking them up into smaller tasks to ensure accountability, collaborating throughout and considering everyone's input and workloads, but at all times keeping the focus on the tasks in hand, not being sidetracked. Second up is the daily scrum. The daily scrum is the team's chance to get together, define a plan for the day's work, and identify any blockers. It provides a frequent opportunity for the team to get together, communicate individual progress towards the goals, and there to highlight any impediments for the team. The Scrum Master is responsible for clearing these roadblocks for the development team so that they can focus on delivery. It's the job of the Scrum Master to maintain pace, holding the same time each day and giving everyone their time to speak while maintaining a focus and a light and fun tone. Of course, things can arise that demands greater time for discussion, and it's the Scrum Master's job to push team members to collaborate and self-manage outside of this meeting. Third up is the sprint review. The sprint review is the Scrum ceremony where all work completed during the sprint can be presented to the stakeholders. This allows the stakeholders to see through things as soon as practical for inspection and adaptation as the functionality emerges. Most importantly, all of the work showcased during this time should be fully demonstrable and meet the definition of done. The team should feel empowered to show off their work that they've been able to complete and should focus on the business value being delivered throughout the product development. In attendance at the meeting should be the Scrum Master, the product owner, the development team, and a blend of management, outside stakeholders, and customers. The Scrum Master will organise the meeting and ensure everything and everyone is set up. And during the meeting, actionable feedback is sought and should be added as a part of the new product backlogs. And lastly, the sprint retrospective. The sprint retrospective is the final Scrum ceremony that allows the team to look back on the work and identify items that could have been improved. Ultimately, this ceremony should provide a blameless space for members of the team to provide their honest feedback and recommendations for improvements. It must drive change and for actions to be agreed for members of the Scrum team to understand who is responsible for what. Agile is all about constant improvement, and this ceremony is specifically designed to help the Scrum team get better by focusing on continuous improvement through presented facts. Focus on continuous improvement and gather information that is based on facts, not just feelings. If a suggestion for improvement is brought up, ask other members of the Scrum team if they all agree, and if so, identify how the recommendation will be brought to life. Keep generating meaningful insights from the conversation, and if you sense that there's more to be said between the lines, encourage the team members to go deeper. So, the future of Scrum. The frameworks sound ideal to bring through rapid results. However, many agile projects have reported challenges. From measuring success to transitioning from predominantly waterfall-based projects to clashing with corporate cultures of fear of mistakes, to the move from output to adding customer value. The standard command and control process of a hierarchical bureaucracy that is still prevalent in many large organizations today are behind the perceived poor performance in economy-wide innovation. Those processes are ill-suited to innovation. Managers recognize this, but what often happens is that teams are deployed on an ad hoc basis when the organization see problems that the bureaucracy cannot solve. Once these teams have solved the specific problems at hand, the teams are disbanded. There is no specific capability created for systematic innovation, and any that are created tend to be infected with control-minded bureaucratic mindsets. The enterprise culture has to change for Agile and Scrum to truly embed itself in the future and to deliver the true promise of the 4IR.